You are listening to the Essential Coaching Skills Podcast. Hey there.
Hey,
This unofficial podcast sort of territory here. My brother Tim O'Brien is here as my guest today. We're going to be talking about basketball because when we were kids, we played basketball a lot. I was much better than he was.
it's good to start out with some humor. I like it. I like it.
Much better than he
Yeah.
was. Because I was taller. I was like 5'10" and you were like 5'9" or something
Yeah.
like that. So it was huge height advantage. I mean, it's, of course, when I grew up, you were 5 years older than me. So for a long time, you had the height advantage. But then
Yeah.
yeah.
I had to make up with craftiness and speed.
Yeah, that's what that was. So anyway, very much enjoyed basketball. It's a great sport. And being that we are average height, it's come to our attention that most basketball players are taller than us. And Tim, my brother Tim, has this brilliant brain of his. So he may not be that tall, but he's a giant,
Hey, nothing wrong with being average.
giant, intellectually giant.
Right.
That's
Okay.
what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so he's been giving this some thought and thinking like, well, why does it have to be that way? What if there were, in fact, alternatives? What if there was a completely different way of thinking about this that could make basketball interesting for everybody, fun for everybody? So Tim,
Yes.
tell us about this crazy notion you got.
Okay. Well, it all started when I was coaching my kids and
Hmm.
helping team, and some really good basketball players would come by and they could dribble and shoot, and they wanted to be star NBA players. And you look at their parents, and they're both 5'8" and 5'7", and you think, play lacrosse or go wrestle or do something else.
Yeah,
You know, it doesn't matter
checks
if you're
out.
black or white or anything like that. It's just, height is such an important thing. So when you look at around and like the NBA playoffs the last few days, really great games, beautiful craftsmanship, great coaching, amazing defense. It's amazing some of the shots and some
Well,
of the
it's been a fun series to watch, absolutely. And
yeah,
yet the shortest guy on the court is what, 6'1"?
6'1", and he's really an anomaly. Most of them are 7 feet, 6'9", 6'10", 6'6" at the kind of minimum, except for TJ McConnell, the lone white guy, well, the almost lone white guy in the whole place. Um, so yeah, my idea was, well, how can we integrate instead of integrate like I'm here at North Carolina, and the big integrator here was Dean Smith, and he's revered for bringing in, having to cope with things like Michael Jordan on his team when nobody wanted to have black people on their team. It was all white folks, tall white kids, which was really only went up to 6'4" a lot of times. Michael Jordan and a couple of really great basketball players on his team, and he promoted, and that was great. And now it's, really fully integrated by race, I'd say, but it's not integrated by height. So, in the Colosseums in Rome, they used to have the gladiators do it, and everybody's sitting around watching these gladiators. And now you see people in the stands watching a basketball game and are watching 7-footers run up and down the court. So where's everybody else? We're all in the stands being average height or smaller. Why can't we integrate by height? Um, can you see can you see this on the screen?
Yeah, we can
You can
highlight.
boost it up later potentially.
Yeah.
Um, But if you take all the heights of everybody in the country and maybe in the world, it's approximately, there's shorter countries and taller countries, but in general, the average height for men is about 5'9.5". I have it 5'10" here just because it's easier to do the math, but um, this is the average. And so 95% of people are between 5'5" and 6'2", let's say. Who's playing basketball? Only the people playing basketball. If you're in high school and you're 6 feet tall, it used to be, wow, Jimmy Content, 6 feet tall. He could be a great basketball player. Wow, because most everybody was a little shorter than 6 feet too, or 6 feet. But now, 7 feet, 7 feet one. There's a guy that's 8 feet tall that, can almost walk, and he can play because he's 8 feet tall. So I had this idea, and that's for women, the same thing. 5'4". If you watch women's basketball game, everybody's 5'9", 5'10". Look at the rosters, 5'10", 5'11", and then just their bigs, their quote bigs are 6'7". 6'7" for women is way out here on the final edge of the bell-shaped curve. So my idea was, well, maybe we could do something like height categories. So coaches are amazingly inventive. Mike Krzyzewski's here. Maybe we could do 5 height categories where you're 20% below the mean.
Could you hold that up a little higher? Thank you.
But then I realized, well, every coach is going to go right up to the edge, and right up to the edge, and right up to the edge, and see if they're right on that edge. And you'll have 5 people like that. So it'll be still a category that wouldn't allow us to be flexible or fair. So I had this other idea. What if there was a total height budget? Total height budget. So if you take the mean, 5'10", and you multiply by 5, you get 350 inches. So you could say, okay, Mike Krzyzewski or Rick Carlisle or Thibodeau, you've got 350 inches to play with. Use it as you want. Tally up all the heights of your players, and it can only be 350. If you want to go like be a little generous, because we're already at everybody's 7 feet tall now, that's playing, you could say, well, let's make a height budget of 395 inches or 400 inches. So if you have a 7-footer, you pay for it maybe with 2 guys that are 5'4". And if, it might sound like that's horrible, but people that are really good athletic people that are short are super fast and super nimble. It's just amazing to watch them play. It would be really nice to see them integrated into the whole thing. And probably there'd be room for 6 people on each team on the court if you had not everybody being that tall.
So hold on. So you're saying that sometimes there wouldn't be 5 people on the court?
You could I'm saying you could have 6 people on the court. I don't know. I haven't I think you have to have 5 on the court, but I haven't, this is a budding idea. Maybe you could have 4 people that are 7 feet tall, and that would be, but against 6 people that are shorter. But I think you should maybe keep it at 5 to start with. And
that'd be interesting.
it would be interesting, yeah. But anyway, so
it's
it sort of
cool.
solves a lot of problems, and it would be a whole different game, but it would be a really interesting game. And you could start off slow. I mean, in pickup leagues, you could just count off everybody arranged by height and count off by the number of teams and just play like that. But when you get to high school, how come a guy that's 6 feet tall and is a Dumbo can't go to play basketball in college because he's not, or a 5'6" guy can't play? Anyway, you get the idea.
I do get the idea. Let me ask you this. Are you proposing this as a replacement of like the NBA or just another league?
All basketball. No, I think you could start with other leagues to try it, of course. I know people have said, well, let's do a short basketball league. Everybody's under 5'10", but then it's really restricting it again. Integrating people, the tall people with the short people would be really great. And you could have everybody be average against a team that has small and large, and see which one works better. You'll have a pass up, but only the 7-footer could get it. Maybe each team would want to have at least a 7-footer on their roster they could sub in depending on how it goes.
Yeah. Wow. That's really, I like that. I like that idea a lot because it'd be fun to see, because you're right. The short guys, if you will, even watching these playoffs just right now with the 6'1", was it TJ McConnell, is it?
Yep.
6'1", but he looks short, but he also looks really fast. He's scooting around between these guys. He just looks exponentially faster somehow.
Yeah.
And the moves that he makes are quite remarkable. But by compared to like somebody who's 5'9" or 5'5", who's even shorter and faster, that'd be really interesting. And especially if you had a whole bunch of them. I remember playing basketball. I was on the high school basketball team, which you weren't.
I wasn't. No. Okay. I was captain of the track team though.
Captain, co-captain.
Co-captain. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to be sure. You were also co-captain at MIT, weren't you? Or is it?
No.
No? Okay. No, you're great runner, always better than me. But there were times when we played against guys who were really tall, and that was like we just got our asses kicked. And then we also played against other teams that were like everybody on that team was really short, but fast, and they also kicked our butt. We were a very average team in many ways, both height and skill wise. But Yeah, well, we weren't good. That's probably why I made the team. But at any rate, it was really evident, the differences between the heights when we played the teams that were really tall and good, and the short guys who were really fast and good. Real different skill set. Really interesting
Yeah.
for skill set.
And if we started it as kids, if they started it as kids, you could learn how to, maximize the benefit of having a short, two short people versus a two average and one tall, or mix and match and see which ones work better and who work well together. Should a point guard be the middle guy, or the point guard should be the
Hmm.
short guy like he usually is now? There are lots and lots of different parameters that would open up.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. Cool. I like it. Let's do it.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right, it's been good. It's of course, the challenge, of course, as you're pointing out, is when you hold up that chart, the bell curve is like this, and the guys way at the tip of it, the 7-footers, the 6'9" guys, it's like the top 1%, not top, but the exclusive, the tail end, or however you want to put it. There's very small part of the bell curve are the guys that we're watching in the grand
Yeah,
circle. They're
it's
the
not
guys.
1%. It's 1% at the 6'2", 6'3" range. But when you get to 6'6", it's 1 in 1,000, 1 to 10,000. When you get to 7 feet tall, it's 1 in a million or more. That's
Wow.
why there's so few people. And then, of course, among them, they have to be able to run and not break their bones and,
Sure.
keep their joints together and stuff. So it's really, really exclusive. And they make lots of money and they have lots of prestige and they get,
Yeah.
lots of benefits from being good and tall. But this seems like tall is you can't coach height is the famous acronym. So you can't coach it. Well, you shouldn't have to, have it, right?
Right.
So it shouldn't be a criterion.
Cool. No, I
Let's
like it.
open up this game to everybody.
Yeah. No, truly, truly. And then, of course, there have been unusual people that have been short and really good. I can think of people.
Muggsy,
Sorry.
Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah. Exactly. He was what, 5'8" or something, and really remarkably able to dunk, and just remarkable
Yeah.
athlete.
But it takes 10 minutes to come down if you're able to jump that high.
No,
You know what I mean?
I know. It's,
Whoa. That always happened to me when I tried to dunk, it's like
yeah, I know. That was the big problem
down.
for me too. That's why I didn't do it very often. Because you get way up there and be like, whoa, and then everybody be running back,
Down the hall. I'm down the court. I know.
so coming down. It's a big problem. Yeah, I decided not to do it. It's too much trouble.
And the same thing too for women. I think, there's lots of really fast, strong, coordinated, fast dribblers and amazing shooters, but they can't get open because anybody 5 inches taller can just, don't even have to jump.
Yeah, yeah,
But if there's somebody to pass to and people around and only one tall person on the court each, or however the coach wanted to apportion their height budget,
right.
then, it would be great for women too. And the women's game is getting so good now. It'd be really fun to see like average size women playing.
Yeah.
And
No, I
you-
think we probably have to start off as kind of like a novelty thing, but if you think about it, there's lots of room for entertainment, and people who would want to be playing in these sports certainly want to be
yeah,
part.
that's a great idea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Instead of a short league, have an integrated league and see how it worked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why not?
I'd volunteer for that.
And I really love the idea. When you first told me about it this years ago, maybe it was that first chart you showed us. There was some people this height, some people this height. But I like the idea of having like a total height budget, and
Yeah.
that they can choose how they want to use it. If they want to stay now, if they like, how there's the starting five, and then there's people who substitute in off the bench. How would they keep that under the height
I
budget?
think they'd have to have, some bookkeeping going on to know that they can't substitute in, they're off their HUD budget. So um, that would be a little bit, a bookkeeping question. Substitute that guy in or a slightly shorter guy or
I can see
two
it
guys.
I can see it in a pro league, with
Yeah.
paid people on the
Uh-huh.
sidelines doing the math real quick.
Yeah.
I can see it be a little harder, in an amateur league.
Yeah, I agree. I have to figure out some of the fine points, but there are lots of smart people out there. It just seems like no one's paying attention to it. Everybody sits around and watches these really, I mean, they're watching Giants play. If we think about what a Giants like, Kaiser Wilhelm had an army of 7-footers to intimidate the villages. So here we're watching 7-footers running down the court and doing great stuff, and it's really fun. And on TV, they look like normal sized people, and you see them next to a coach and go, oh.
No, it's true. I once went to basketball camp when I was in ninth grade. And
Oh, that's how you got so good.
that's exactly how I got good. But I went to, I was in ninth grade, I was just an inch shorter than I am now. I grew quickly. So I was a big man for ninth graders. But I remember walking into the court at Canisius College or St. John's College or whatever, where the basketball camp was. And there were, at the time, Buffalo had a pro team. The Buffalo Braves were there. And some of the Buffalo Braves were teaching at this camp. So there are these guys at the other end of the court, just shooting around. And like you said, they looked like normal people. They were perfectly proportioned people, and they're just shooting baskets. And then I'm walking across the court, getting closer, and the closer I get to them, the taller they get. Until when I was standing next to him, I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
It was amazing because literally they were giants. They were huge humans. They weren't just tall and gangly. They were like normally proportioned people. These guys, but wow. Just towering over us.
Right. I don't have anything against tall people. I'm not trying to,
Right. No, I think this is
tall
cool.
people. I just want to include everybody. Yes, everybody gets a chance. In the high budget idea, you can have tall people. They're not excluded, but you have to pay for it, and balance it. I guess pay for it, balance it are sort of, good ways to put it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I love it. It's interesting. I was talking the other day about the differences in physiology between different athletes, and that's all well and good. But as an example, I was talking about in the world of NLP, how we try to model others who have great skill sets, and how do they do that is the question in NLP. And so if we can figure out their strategies, their way of doing things, we can take them on for ourselves and become better ourselves at that particular skill, whether it's piano playing or golf or basketball or whatever else it might be. But I also pointed out in this class that I was teaching that, there are people like Michael Phelps, one of the best swimmers who's ever lived, who's I think 6'4", and has
feet of a 7-footer.
Big feet and long wingspan, big arms, and comparing him to Haile Gebrselassie, who's one of the best distance runners of all time, who's 5'5", but Haile Gebrselassie has longer legs than Michael Phelps.
Ah, nice.
He's a foot shorter. So Phelps is like got short legs for a big guy, and this massive wingspan. And he's built like a fish, He's built and he swims like one. He's amazing. And Gebrselassie runs like a deer. He's got these long legs for a short person. Massive lung capacity. So just
And he weighs about 120 pounds too, probably.
Yeah, right, exactly. This has been the Essential Coaching Skills Podcast. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure seeing you again. Hope to see you again real soon. Come back next week when we have another gripping and exciting episode of the Essential Coaching Skills Podcast. And if you want to, you can find out more about us, each and every one of us, at essentialcoachingskills.com. Thanks.